more and more polling indicates that the vast majority of Americans are starting to rethink impeachment. Now, I say vast majority, even though the polls indicate that there is nearly a 50-50 split. But when you see how many Americans didn't support impeachment and now do support impeachment, you'll kind of get an understanding of what I'm saying. So let's take a look at what some of these polls indicate. First, there's a Quinnipiac poll that showed that 47% of voters actually favor impeaching and removing Trump from office, compared with 47% who do not. So there's an even split there. However, if you go back just a week, right? If you look at numbers from September 25th, you'll find that the numbers were very different. So the poll released on September 25th found that voters did not want to impeach and remove Trump, at 57% against it, 37% in favor of it, indicating a net 20-point swing in less than a week.
In less than a week, he's in massive trouble. So guys, the polling on this issue can be slightly confusing. So I want to just make sure that you're clear on it. There are 3 layers to it, and they ask it in 3 different ways. They don't often clarify which one they're referring to. So first, some polls ask, should there be an impeachment inquiry? That's where we have the vast majority that Anna referred to. So CNN had reported about a new poll put out by YouGov, and there's another one by CBS, but the YouGov one says 55% of Americans think the newly opened probe is necessary, and only 45% think it's unnecessary. So when we're talking about impeachment inquiry, clear majority, 55 to 45, say yes, do the inquiry. And almost all of them back that. In that same poll, when they say, okay, do you think impeachment should happen? That's the second layer. 42 to 36 saying yes, it should happen. When you talk, the third layer is, should they do the inquiry, do the impeachment, and then throw him out of office, which is what the Senate would do. And that's the one that Anna started with at Quinnipiac. And now even all 3 layers are at a split and tied, which is at the beginning of the inquiry. I mean, we just started a couple of days ago. Oh, those are terrible numbers. The Nixon numbers were when they started the impeachment proceedings, the only 19% of Americans wanted them to do that.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah, because back then Democrats had courage.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, only 20% of Americans want to do it. It doesn't matter, he broke the law, we're doing it anyway.
Yep.
And by the end of it, he was gone because they were right. He had broken the law. Now, Democrats are like, I don't know, the majority want an inquiry, but should we do it? And finally, they get pushed into doing it. By the way, another article today, just like I predicted, is talking about how brilliant Nancy Pelosi was to wait. Okay, I can't take it anymore. Anyways, so overall, guys, Nixon was gone. He resigned before they even got to impeach him. They did the articles of impeachment, but before they got to vote on impeachment, he's like, I'm outie, I'm gone, right? Because handwriting was on the wall. So Trump starts in a way bigger hole than Nixon did.
Yes.
And his popularity is way less than Nixon's was. So it's a double whammy. I'll get to that, those numbers in a second.
So we've only given you a little tasty taste of this poll. We're not even done with Quinnipiac yet. I want to give you some more of those results. So the poll also found that 50% of those surveyed said that Trump did something wrong in propositioning Ukraine to investigate Biden, while 40% said he did not. So who is this 40%? Obviously, it's Republicans. So it's really split based on party lines. 86% of Democrats said that Trump did something wrong. Only 9% of Republicans said Trump did something wrong. But here's the number that's incredibly important. Among independent voters, 52% said that Trump did something wrong in trying to dig up dirt on Biden.
Once he lost the majority of independents, it's good night, Irene. And he's actually losing more and more Republicans than you might imagine. That number was at 5% in most of the polls. So only 5% of Republicans saying Trump did anything wrong in this case, and usually in any case. But it went up in that poll. In another poll, it's all the way up at 14% saying that Trump 14% of Republicans saying Trump did something wrong here, and they should look into it. So tick, 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 tick.
Okay. Let's move on to CNN because CNN did their own poll and they found that 47% of individuals actually favor impeaching and removing Trump from office. Only 45% are not in favor of that. Now the numbers from May were 41% in favor, 54% not in favor. So again, you see a significant increase in the CNN poll as well. Among independents, supports for impeachment and removal has risen 11 points to 46% among independents and 8 points. 46% among independents and 8 points to 14% among Republicans.
Yes, so look, those are very bad numbers for Donald Trump. I wanna say one other reason why. So everybody thinks, it's because he did something bad in Ukraine. But look, the obstruction charges in the Mueller report were just as bad, and there were 10 different ones. So what's the difference? Well, on the one hand, on Ukraine, everybody's talking about it because the Democrats declared impeachment inquiry. So it got a huge spotlight. On the other hand, with Mueller, the Democrats were so it didn't go anywhere. No, you have to show people what he did wrong. And when you show it to them, they're like, oh, wow, that's pretty bad, right? And you could have done the same thing in the Russia case on obstruction. You could have done the same thing with the campaign finance violations, the hush money payments. Look, if I was the Democrats, I'd be like, his co-conspirator, it's literal. It's not figurative, it's not metaphorical. In the indictments, his co-conspirator is in prison right now. I would have done a press conference every day where I would have been like, Michael Cohen, still in prison for the crime he committed with Donald Trump. And by the way, on behalf of Donald Trump. There's no question it's a crime, but they didn't do that. Nancy Pelosi hid in a cave, so the numbers didn't move. Now, when they do an impeachment inquiry, hey, look at that. It turns out when you make your own case, it moves people, to which I say, of course. And for some of the kiss asses in the media to then turn around and give Pelosi credit for this is the most deeply ironic thing I have ever seen. One last thing about the polling, Donald Trump now on his approval rating is down to the lowest number he's ever had, 37%. We're about a year out from the elections. So whether he resigns or gets impeached and convicted, etc., in terms of winning the elections, an incumbent at 37%?
Does that deserve a shimmy? I feel like it deserves a shimmy.
Okay, anyways, Carter was nowhere near 37%. Okay, 37% is a terrible number. The head of the ship is in the water and it's headed on its way down. I can give you tons of more numbers on that, but the bottom line is there's nothing pointing up. Everything is pointing down, and quickly. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.